mission conducts its activities in accordance with the Nigerian law and Declaration of Principles for the International Election Observation. The mission also collaborated closely with the EU Observer Mission and with Nigerian citizen observer groups. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our findings, and my colleague here, Dr. Familio, will then talk about some of the recommendations. Many Nigerians continue to underscore the particular significance of the March 9 state-level elections. Under Nigeria's federal system, the 36 states in FCT are the pillars of the country's democratic architecture, where the decisions impact citizens' everyday lives. Moreover, it is easier for citizens to hold account elected leaders at the state level than those at the federal level, because their actions affect local services more directly. And that is why we put such an emphasis on this election. Nigerians are going to participate in their democracy. This is the fastest way they can do it, by engaging in state-level politics and state-level governance practices. While a marked improvement was seen in the administration of the March 9 state-level elections compared to February 23rd, and the electoral environment was generally calm in most parts of the country, the elections, our delegation observed, were marked by irregularities, instances of intimidation, vote buying, and violent acts during the voting, counting, and collation processes in some places. Incidents of violence and disruption to the balloting process were observed by our delegates in Lagos, Benue, Rivers, and Nasarawa states. In the days leading up to the March 9 elections, many states still grappled with inconclusive candidate selection processes, uncertainty about parties to appear on the ballot, and pending litigation on these matters. The confusion generated by this uncertainty hampered effective campaigning and hence hindered voters' ability to make informed choices on election day. For the most part, political parties were unable to resolve disputes emanating from party primaries and candidate selection processes through internal mechanisms. As a result, many aggrieved individuals petitioned courts of law for redress, overtaxing INEC and the country's legal system. Something to think about as we go into issues of future electoral reform. Moreover, the intense focus on federal campaigns for the presidency and National Assembly so close to the state level polls overshadowed local campaigns and may have also undermined the mobilization of voters for the March 9 elections.
We therefore urge a national conversation on progress made and vulnerabilities that must be overcome to further strengthen the credibility of electoral processes and safeguard the country's democracy. In the spirit of international cooperation, the IRI-NDI mission offers the following recommendations for consideration. To the executive branch of government, expedite the adoption of comprehensive electoral reforms in order to lay the groundwork for an improved electoral framework. Implement fully and expeditiously the recommendations of Nigerian-led reform initiatives, such as the reports from the US Commission of 2008 and the Namani Committee of 2017, and create appropriate institutions to oversee political parties and prosecute electoral offenses, responsibilities that currently impede INEC's focus on election administration. Adopt and apply measures to achieve the 35% affirmative action for women in both elective and appointive posts as envisioned in the 2006 National Gender Policy. Investigate the actions of the military and hold accountable those who violated the electoral and other laws. To the National Assembly, undertake and pass amendments to the election law that address the challenges and lessons learned from the 2019 electoral cycle, and do so early enough to allow these changes to be implemented before the next round of state or national elections. prioritize legislation that would promote women's leadership and political participation, notably by the adoption of the Gender and Equal Opportunities Bill. To INEC, publish complete and detailed state-level results as well as national results in a timely manner. Conduct a comprehensive review of the conduct of the 2019 polls that involves a full spectrum of election stakeholders. Review the recommendations from credible domestic and international observer groups to improve the electoral framework and conduct of elections.